We visited the home of Ertha Glymp, who celebrated her 100th birthday on Monday, to get to know one of our longest living residents in Leesburg.
We attended a school at what was Dabney Elementary, but we called it Lake County Training School. And that's where all of us graduated from. It was a long time ago. But at age 20, I decided I wanted to see the world,
In her lifetime, Ertha experienced the Great Depression, World War II, and being a woman in the workforce.
The Depression was in, the 1930s. I remember that well, oh yeah. And I remember that my father had been in the war, First World War. And the men got the bonuses and things like that, My father swore he was going to build a house with his bonus, but he never did. There was no way for me to go to college. There was absolutely no way. My mother had these 3 children. We lived in a little, like a 3-room house. And the only work you could get around here, like my mama did housework. She did washing and ironing and things like that. And I had decided early that I was not going to be doing that the rest of my life. When I was in Philadelphia, the war was going on. And so there was one factory there, one war factory. And when I left Peekskill and I went to Philadelphia, a lady friend of mine, was waiting for me and had a job for me. So I went to work right away. And it was a job making the wings for the Navy plane, Corsair. And that's what we did until the war was over. And then it was around all the factories and Camel Soup. I stayed one day, can you imagine that? It was the toughest work I ever tried to do.
In the 1950s, segregation was at its height, and Ertha felt the effects.
Where I lived when I first went to Philadelphia, the neighborhood at first, before we went, was all white. But Lord, when they said, let's merge these schools and things, it was white flight. You would have seen just what it meant, white flight. Seemingly our neighborhood would turn black in no time, In
her 50s, Ertha attended Temple University and became an elementary school teacher before retiring back to Leesburg in 1983.
I always said that whenever I retired, from whatever I retired from, I was coming back home.
With her many years of experience, Ertha has these words of advice.
I hope that the nation will settle down. I hope that the parents would get a hold of their children. And one of the main things I hope is that we go back to God, because no matter what, meanness and that's the worst part. We must be forgiving. I hope.
Happy 100th birthday, Ertha. With Lakefront TV, I'm Cindy Peterson.